They dress so cool.
Yeah, it's like a system. It's like the same way a star gets awesome before it just sinks in on
Explodes.
He's very fast.
Oh no!
I need to show you a video of me doing stand-up badly because you showed me last time. And 3,
I tried to, but I was just so talented.
I know, yeah, you tried to.
Just like intangible red flag territory. Like he's not
Yes.
saying anything
Oh,
specific,
interesting.
But like
Yeah.
just as he's talking, you're like, do not be in a room alone with this man.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, so
So-
we can all love each other. No.
All right, great. Okay, great. This is great. What about him is an intangible red flag? Is it a way he appears, way he talks, hand gestures?
Do you know what
is
the
it?
word intangible means?
All right, I'm gonna go have a piss. Ashley, you're in charge.
I'm in charge. Bitches.
I went down on a juicy boozy, and
Uh-oh, got a fart in this chair's gonna make it reverberate. Hey, wait.
John.
Hey.
Oh no! Oh no! Everybody else, hey,
Hey.
What's going on? I'm just waiting for music. I thought you were getting
No.
music. Oh, I thought you were just
one
getting
of how
music.
my penis gets born.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Here's a shed.
the ice cream cones came with a little metal packet that
Oh.
is just full of sugar. It's just full of sugar to be poured into the cones.
I got what has the Japanese not gotten a hold of, perfected, and then when everyone was like, "You did it," they went, "And now we'll begin." And you're like, No, you fixed it. It was fixed. Do not break it. They're like, no, we got to break this.
I still have some more questions.
Go ahead.
John Hastings is on America's Got Talent for 5 minutes, and now he's got houses in LA and London.
That's right.
Yeah.
You kept a house in London?
Yeah, I've kept a house in London.
Update, not sugar.
There's no fluid tasting enough to warrant sucking it out of him. Yeah. No, but it was did he do it when he was then in the band when they were the 4 Bee Gees that brief time before then his heart exploded?
Oh,
I'm not saying anything that didn't happen. That is what happened to him.
I'm a predator.
And it was going awesome. And we even started having drinks at a bar, and we each had girlfriends with us, whatever. We're having a great time until I got comfortable enough to go, hey, we share a birthday,
As someone who's been eternally single,
Go ahead. Is it your fault? Yes. No, sorry. Sorry.
Stop tweeting after your dates, Ashley. Stop tweeting after your dates.
Oh, bad news, Paul. You're getting a Batman bed.
This is not bad news. I am so pleased.
Support them.
But you know what's more important than helping people's mental health?
fuck you, John.
I'm just saying. Tom, you're a comedy fan.
Here's what happened. So I came up after she finished a couple times.
Oh no, the Canadians are coming.
Chris, John, and Irish Ashley combine to make the ultimate team, better than any wet dream. Welcome to the Untitled Twitch stream. John's the CEO and Boomer. Ashley's the real leader. Chris brings the vibes and juices as our enjoyment increases. Welcome to the Untitled Twitch stream.
Yo!
Oh, I thought Chris was still gonna mute himself. Oh, I was fucking banking on that in my head.
I was just trying to time it. The video it's still chunky for me, so I was like,
"Oh,
let's go."
The hostile
Chris,
Wi-Fi.
you look so cute.
I feel cute.
Yeah, Chris, you look like an
I'm
accountant who's just no, you're fine. Are you cold, or are you like the computer's freezing? Because you're not freezing on my end.
Oh, I didn't shut my window.
Okay, because you guys just froze until right now.
No, well, we weren't moving, but we were talking. We were giving out all your secrets. Coming in from Selk 104. Also, hello, podcast.
I've missed
listeners.
whatever just happened. I said Chris looks cute.
Yeah, we heard you that and we were commenting
Okay.
on it. Also, almost nothing else happened. We've been on for like 30 seconds. Also, a couple of quick things coming in from the cat. The Chris Betts to replace Chris Pratt as Mario.
It's a me,
Yeah.
the best Chris.
Is Chris Pratt actually supposed to play Mario?
Yeah, he's voicing
No.
Mario in the new animated one. He's doing Mario, Garfield, and another one that people are mad about.
What?
Do we
in the
think
new
that he's
animated
doing,
what?
The accent, or is he?
Apparently, he's not doing the accent. Apparently,
Yeah,
he's
I was
doing
going to
why
say,
is
I'd
he
say
there?
they're doing
Because it's-
Chris Pratt's voice.
Because
Yeah.
Mario has a vague Brooklyn or Italian accent. Speaking of
I think they're
someone
going to
who I
like.
think lived in
Right,
New York.
right.
Lived in New York.
Mario
have
has
a-
a nowhere accent. Sorry.
But he does. Mario does have an accent, though. Am I
Yeah, but
wrong?
it's not from anywhere. It's a joke. It's no Italian person has ever sounded like Mario. What's up, Abigail? How you doing?
Hey, how are you guys?
Ted, welcome aboard.
You look
Hello,
awesome.
Junior. Yeah, you do look very good for someone who's had
Loving the
so
blue.
much COVID.
The blue
I
has
was
been
completely
fresh.
asymptomatic.
Nice.
I know. Yeah, you and me both,
nice.
sister. Oh my God, Abigail, shall we talk about that week that we both lived watching everyone around us get COVID?
Oh, yeah. I mean, my favorite thing to do is to come on this stream and have just a conversation with just one of you while the other two listen.
Yeah,
It's my
of course.
favorite.
Yeah, we can
I
do
want
that.
to debrief.
That's
Yeah, I
kind
wanna
of how the
debrief,
show
but-
works.
That's
Okay,
what happened
now-
yesterday when we talked about the Beatles, and Ashley just sat quietly.
Yeah. I view that as a punishment for Ashley for not learning about the Beatles. She's in the wrong. You should know about the Beatles.
But why? I don't need to know about the Beatles.
That's why.
I'm okay with it.
That's what. Yeah, and I'll have you know that's not helping my emotions. The fact that you're like, I'm fine not knowing about the Beatles. Like, how are you not fine? You're fine not knowing about joy, hope.
I listen to the music. I know the music. I don't need to know about their personal lives.
Then favorite Beatles movie.
No one watches the movies, John.
Yes,
Nobody
you do.
watches
Do you
the
understand?
movies.
Have you guys never seen those movies? Do you know how fucking there is?
I really
No plot.
wanted to say yesterday just to piss you off.
What?
They're really weird.
What?
It's so I haven't seen it, but it's really weird looking. I don't want to see
Seen
it.
which? Seen which?
Yesterday,
Oh,
the movie that's about the guy who
Oh.
exists in a world where the Beatles don't exist.
Fuck
He's
that
the only
movie. That
one that
movie
remembers
looks
them?
so shit.
Exactly.
no
That's why I
one-
wanted to say it to
Fuck
piss you
that
off.
guy. Yeah, I'd agree with you completely. I'd be like, that movie sucks, and you're right to not like it. Abigail, have you seen the movie yesterday? What do you feel about the Beatles?
No, I haven't seen the movie yesterday, so there is that. First of all, I just realized my new headphones aren't connected to my computer yet. So is my sound okay?
You sound
Yeah,
great.
You sound okay, yeah.
Cool. Just want to make sure that like not wearing headphones wasn't fucking things up.
All
But
good.
I like the Beatles. I not someone who listened to them a lot. My dad was a big Stones person, so I listened to more of the Stones. And I feel like there's always that choice. Like if you're our age, your parents chose one of them to teach you about.
yeah.
And for me, it was the Stones. However, I did start watching the documentary of the old footage on
Oh,
Disney
mhm.
Plus. That
back, yeah.
is so cool. That makes me go, oh, I get it.
Yeah, you see?
Because they've always been like characters to me.
Mhm.
And Ringo has been a joke since I was born.
Yeah.
So to just see him just be like this quiet guy, just like, you know, doing the drums and stuff. And I don't know. I really
I'll
like
tell
that documentary. I love that. Like that.
I will tell you,
Go ahead.
Abigail, do you smoke? You've occasionally borrowed a cigarette when I was smoking, yeah?
Yes. Yes.
How did you find watching that documentary as someone who does smoke? Okay, because it is the most pro smoking thing I've ever seen. Like, literally, like Ringo, like just the classic of like, oh, we're about to play a song.
Yeah.
What are you fucking doing? Oh, it's so
Before they knew that smoking caused cancer, though.
I mean,
Oh, they
some
knew.
people, no,
They
people
knew.
knew. Like
It
my
was.
Didn't
my
Yeah, no,
grandfather, who went out in his middle 80s smoking hard. I remember we were talking about smoking once, and he was like, "We've always known it was bad." And I
Mhm.
remember he just said that just dangling out of his mouth at like 81. He's like, "We always knew."
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, you just choose not to."
I think people pretend that they didn't know as an excuse for the fact that they all smoke and drink while they were pregnant with us. Like they're like, it was the 80s. We didn't know.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like they knew in the 60s and 50s and 40s. Everybody,
Yeah.
it was bad. Yeah.
My friend Jill was born. This is the best. And I do not think this is medically sound. This is just something the doctor did, which was Jill was very late. They were like, listen, we can induce, or and then apparently the doctor walked over to the window and was like, there is a bar across the street. Do you smoke and drink? Did you smoke or drink before you're pregnant? She was like, yeah. He's like, go have a cocktail, smoke 2 cigarettes, come back in 20 minutes. And literally like hospital smock with her husband, like glass of wine, couple of old oily rags in front of the bar. I mean, this is the 80s, so inside the bar, and then walked back across the hospital and gave birth. Welcome. Medicals, this is the problem in the times of the pandemic when people are like, you have to trust science, because the problem with that is it's like, listen, what that means is trust science. It's the best system we've got still because humans are involved. Terrible system.
But was he wrong? Was he wrong? That baby came. How's your friend? Fine?
Fine.
Sounds like science to me.
Yeah, it worked out. Yeah,
That's
born.
peer reviewed.
By the way, pregnant, like born right away. Like literally, like came back and was like, let's have this baby. Like,
there you go.
Wow.
There you go. So you can't really argue with results, John. That's what I'm saying.
I was
So,
listening to
argue
a podcast today on my walk. I go for a walk every day and I listen to podcasts. And one of the things in it was that apparently, like, most doctors will admit that about 1/10 of what they prescribe or tests that they order, or like 1/10 of what they do, is completely unnecessary, but it's just to like get rid of patients.
Yeah.
Like
How
most
much of
patients
it-
think they go to a doctor and
Yeah.
they need to come away with a prescription for an antibiotic or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're just like, we know that we shouldn't overprescribe antibiotics because it's bad for the entire immunity of our human race. But sometimes they just think they need it and I want them to get out of my office.
Yeah.
So I just give them the prescription.
I don't like taking stuff from doctors, but I'm a redhead, so I have to actually be very careful because my pain tolerance, and this isn't a douchey thing, this is a scientifically proven thing that I've learned because of my many trips to the ground, that redheads are genetically have a much higher pain tolerance, and when you're dealing things like recovering from surgical pain, you can end up back in the hospital because it'll overwhelm your system how in pain you are. So for redheads, doctors are like, will be like, you have to take this no matter how you're feeling, because it will be registering in your body. You just are a weird freak part of our society, so you're not going to recognize that as pain that needs medication. Take it, which is why I was given so much Oxycontin when I was ill. By the way, still have 27 Oxycontins, and we are approaching 1 year away from being given them, and I will be celebrating by taking a bunch.
Nice. Have you watched Dope Sick on Disney Plus yet?
No, I live in Southern California. I'm living the Sackler family's opioid crisis. I don't need to watch.
It's pretty sad.
I don't
Pretty
need to
sad.
watch. Yeah, I don't need Michael Keaton to tell me how devastating the opioid crisis. Like, it's so many people in America are like, can you believe this Dope Sick? And I keep being like, you live where it's happening. What are you talking about? You needed to be informed because of them. Walk outside. What the fuck?
I just want to draw attention to this. Patient reassured and told to fuck off from Tiger. That's exactly it.
Is that a medical term? Prafto?
It probably is.
That's good stuff. I go ahead, Abigail.
I'm like I've done drugs. We all know that. But the one thing that
Hold on, one more time. Say it for the people in the back.
Yeah, exactly. So everyone knows. Say it to the cheap seats.
I'm never gonna be on CBBCs now. But I have like my one, like, I don't fuck with it is prescription drugs. Like, first of all, for some reason they make me more nervous than actual party drugs that are that you don't even know what you're getting. And secondly, they really screw with the ability for people. This is such a stupid hill to die on, and I fully admit that.
I'll follow you right down this hill. Go ahead, and I'll tell you my
But
reasons. Go ahead.
it stops it makes it so much harder for people who need that medication to get that medication, because it becomes like a scheduled drug, and you have to like prove that you need it so much that because it's always abused, that it's like, I will not touch prescription drugs. However, if it's sold by a guy named Raph and it comes in a bag, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm absolutely with you. The other reason why I trust Raph more than because also Raph needs me to live. Raph only has so many customers. Raph's not fucking around.
You say that, but Raph's got a lot of fentanyl and all his shit now, so I don't trust any Raphs now either.
Well, but that, by the way,
fucked.
let me defend the Raphs out there. That wasn't Raph's decision. That was the guy above Raph. Definitely a guy named like Drake, Mookie.
Regardless, still selling it. He knows. He knows what's in his trunk.
Again, I'm going to say this. I think Chris has bought a lot less. Well, Chris, what of all the drugs you've bought allegedly, what would you say weed is the drug you've bought the most?
I mean, allegedly, if we're talking about a hypothetical Chris that obviously never existed,
of course,
it would go weed, mushrooms, acid.
Those drug dealers, first of all, alleged Chris. Let me use that evidence to go to real Chris. Do you think anyone who's selling weed, mushrooms, or acid is speaking to their supplier in depth? Maybe the weed guy. Other guys, absolutely not. And let's just say allegedly there's a man named John who may or may not be me. And the first drugs who is not me, but this hypothetical John has purchased would be cocaine and then ecstasy and then weed, because I only smoked weed for a year. Those two chains right there, they're not talking to anyone. They're just happy to be in business. No one is, especially in the United Kingdom, anyone who is selling Eckies is not doing their reasage.
This isn't from Yes Meeples. Is Chris cosplaying as a lobster fisherman? It would be
He's been in Canada for too long. You're still in Canada, right?
Yeah. I'm on Victoria. These coveralls might be the most comfortable thing I've ever owned.
I've wanted a pair of coveralls.
They're very
so
cute.
much.
They're so fucking comfortable.
Chris, I want you to know that you showing us those coveralls yesterday made me spend so much money on a pair of flip-flops that I am now currently wearing. So in 2018, I bought flip-flops impulsively in London on my way to Australia that were absolutely excellent Nike pool sliders right here.
Dope.
I bought.
Oh, I hate those. What's happening?
Fuck is going on?
Is there an earthquake?
No, I just heard like above my head, just a lot of banging and the sounds of a lot of water moving.
That's exciting.
I mean, it's really gonna help your stream if the
roof just falls down.
Water just covers you. It's like sitcom style, not in a way that is endangering to you anyway, but in like, oh, what a week I'm having, like that.
It's pretty wild. This apartment building has changed a little bit in the 4 months since I was in bedbug exile. For example, last night at midnight, full on just smelled someone in my building was smoking crack. Like I think it was out the window. It's also that weird moment. I hate being someone who's been around enough crack. Like I've never done crack, but I've just been around enough people to be like, what's that smell? And then it's always the one guy who just smokes some crack goes, it's crack, trying to act like it's not the weirdest smell in the world.
I saw a guy smash a crack pipe in the street the other day.
Oh, I fucking miss British Columbia.
In rage. I hope he quit, but who knows? But yeah, he was out there, had a sleeping bag over his shoulders, and in a rage, he just like, and smashed it everywhere. And
I hope there was like a moment for him. I hope that was like a defining, life-altering, getting over a hump moment.
That's it. He's gonna be the CEO by next year.
Actually, I poured water over cigarettes. You just go out 2 hours later and buy another pack.
Do you know how many homeless people I've given full cigarette packs to? I do the
exact same thing. Sorry.
My absolute favorite was on a walk of shame. I was walking down Queen Street in Toronto. Best walk of shame is Toronto. It's so well laid out for it. And I'm walking with a bunch of businessmen, and I'm smoking. And he goes, "Hey man, do you have a lighter?"
What
and
are you doing walking with a bunch of businessmen?
Yeah, that's the most incongruous part of this. Why is John hanging out with a bunch of?
Yeah, I don't need the rest of the story. I need to know what.
They were
How did
walking to
you-
their place of business. I was leaving a hotel where I just had intercourse with a lady, and I was
So you
walking
weren't
out.
walking
You weren't
with
with
them.
You
Yeah,
were
we were
among
walking
them.
with them. We were,
But you're
we were
not
all
like
walking,
a party
we
to
were
them.
all-
You don't know them.
You don't
You're
know
not-
these people.
And they don't know me, but we were together in
Okay.
that moment.
The way you made it sound is like it's just you and like Succession.
It was. That was. It was. It was me and the Roy family, and we were walking towards Cameron's house. It was me, and a businessman said, "Hey, can I have a lighter?" And I went, "Keep the pack." And I gave him the pack, and he's like, "Are you quitting?" And I never forget. I went, "That's right, man," and just flicked the cigarette and just like walked into this. I'm like, "That is so cool." And then it wasn't half an hour later. I was like, "Fuck that," and I bought some cigarettes. Fully quit another 10 years later, ladies and gentlemen. What I'm trying to say is just quit when you're ready. Just quit when you're ready. But do quit. It's so much better. My body and soul. Here's something I haven't thought in so long. Why does my throat feel horrible right now? I haven't thought that in over a year. Haven't thought not sick, Ashley. Ashley, you've never smoked a cigarette, I assume.
I have smoked cigarettes actually.
No.
Oh,
You can't be group sex Ashley and not smoke a post-coital cigarette.
No,
I assume
never
you-
post-coital.
Can we
I
just
knew it.
back
I
up
fucking knew she
because
was
I
so-
missed the point where Ashley became group sex Ashley.
Oh, she's the notorious GSA.
Oh, wow.
That's like canon.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Abigail, you didn't miss anything. You showed up well after it was established.
Okay.
Basically,
yeah,
me-
I haven't
me
done
and
any
Chris are
drugs, but I've done
virgins.
every one.
Yeah. Her
Good for
cocaine.
you.
Her
Good
cocaine
for
is the
you.
asshole. Just can't stop sniffing it. Yeah.
Oh, that would be such a
someone
good
take a
clip to put
timestamp.
on
Yeah.
social media if I felt comfortable doing that.
Part of it is you're so overtly honest here, but the second we leave here, you're like,
Quack, 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 quack,
quack. And let us all embrace the call of the GSA. Quack, quack, quack.
Quack, 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 quack. That's the Abigail. That's the sound Ashley makes when she's eating ass. Quack, 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 quack.
No, when my ass is being eaten.
If their ass being
Get it the
eaten,
right way around.
fucking
Oh, I thought it was just like a universal.
No, what are you doing?
No?
Come on.
All right. You know, we're all learning here.
You know what I wonder is I wonder if that orgy that takes place at that weird hotel near Waterloo every month is still happening in COVID. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? I will explain.
No.
In London, there is quite famously a giant orgy. I have been invited by two different people, but this is where the orgy was where I was like, I can't make it. I have to do a gig at the King's Head. Can I come 40 minutes late?
We
And
need
they
the
were like,
names of the people who invited you.
Absolutely. One of them was a girl I met on Tinder. We had intercourse 3 times. One of which
Don't say intercourse.
One of which the intercourse was very loud, and it very much bothered a subletter that subletted a room in the house that Chris and I lived in, and he was the worst subletter we ever had. He sent me a passive-aggressive message about doing the dishes and sent Chris an email about being cleaner when his mom died. No. This guy, I'll say his name.
Yeah.
This guy's name was Nick. He's a cunt. He's a fucking
Oh.
liar. I caught him being a
Oh,
liar
yeah.
because he said, I'm going to
sucks.
Canada tomorrow. And then the next day he wasn't there. And I said, why aren't you in Canada? He went, it's canceled. He then tried to, the person who took his room, our roommate, Catherine, said, I gave my room to Nick. And I said, along with our other roommate, no, you didn't. She went, this isn't unfair. And then I said, get him the fuck out of my house. He's a sociopath. Nick, if you exist anywhere, I hope you fucking die. You're a cunt. And my favorite part was he sent me a passive aggressive text message after he moved out, upset that we didn't help him move out. And I replied with, go fuck yourself. I fucking hate that guy. Oh, he's a fucking loser.
Yeah,
Fuck him.
So like
Fuck Nick.
after my mom died and I was in Canada like dealing with it all, he was CCing me into emails about problems with the washing machine. I was like,
Oh.
Yeah.
couldn't help
Oh, it was a
anyways.
fucking-
Stop this. He's that kind
You
of
know
like,
what, Nick?
just-
Go drown yourself in a washing machine.
Hey, Nick,
Yeah.
fuck you. What's his actual full name? I will say his actual full name. Let's find this guy.
Is he? He's
Oh.
not a comic. He's not.
No, he's just some fucking loser.
No,
I don't
he's
know,
a guy
friends-
our
he's
room.
friends with
No.
Catherine.
He was a guy she went on 2 dates with, and then said they were best friends. And then I went through the details, and I was like, I don't think you've met this guy. You
Yeah.
fucked us.
Yeah. That's the worst, man. I've had a couple people that moved into houses while I was away, and they're always the worst people. I don't know what it is. Like, I'll live with people that I like, and the people that they pick to replace themselves, I'm like, do you secretly hate me? And I didn't know? Is that why you picked this person? Did we not get along this whole time?
Because people, when they're moving out of house shares, are so like focused on like the next place that they're not like vetting that person. Because I'll be honest, I replaced myself once with not a good person, because you don't do the research, because you're not thinking I'm gonna live with that person. You're like, I'm going somewhere else, and this person has been nice to me twice. And you're just it's selfish, but that's why it happens.
Cold as ice. It's cold
Attention,
as ice.
Nicholas Luff. You are a cunt. I hope you fucking die. If you have any problems with what I'm about to say, I consider yourself to be a sociopathic liar. I am not a doctor, so that is not in any way besmirchment of your character. I have no ability to determine that, and I'm acknowledging that. It's in my humble opinion. But if you could fuck off, you
I don't think there's
odious
anything
piece
humble
of
about
shit.
this opinion.
It's not a humble opinion. It
There's
is
no
a full,
humility.
in fact, no, there's no humility. I hope you
Very
get
confident.
fucked in the neck with a knife. I hope that everyone you love dies before you. I hope if you have children, they're murdered by cancer in front of you as they come into existence. And I hope that you're the only person hell is for. Go.
That's a
fuck
man
yourself.
named Cancer rather than the disease.
Correct. You know what's weird though about the man named Cancer, Ashley? His horoscope is Gemini. I don't know what a cock centaur is, but from your mouth to God's ears, Boomstickery. I did name names. I told you his full name. I can give you his full name. Name Cancer is a Johnny Cash song, surely. Oh, wonderful stuff. I'm literally looking at the email, and my favorite part was Sadaf responded to his email with, "My husband's Chris's mother has died. Please stop including him in all these emails." And then it had the coda, which was that guy came up to me in the hall and went, "Some of the people who used to live here are a bit weird over email." And I went, "She still lives here."
Yeah.
I fucking hate this guy.
Jesus Christ. I like the fact that he's like, some of the people who still live here or who used to live here, you CC'd them in on an issue.
Yeah.
Like, if you didn't live there, oh God, that's horrible. That's horrible.
Oh man. I found this fucking guy. I think. Is that him?
Are you?
Oh yeah. There he is.
We're getting big into live Facebook stalking, folks, recently.
Oh my God, this guy's what a fucking loser. Oh
What's he
my
do now?
God.
I feel like he's a DJ. I feel like he DJs now.
No. He's a fake businessman.
I was gonna say white, cheap, but always white shirt. Poorly fitted trousers.
100%, 100% His Twitter bio reads, "The art and science of effective collaboration, social entrepreneurship, angel impact investing." Fuck you, Bitcoin. I fucking knew it. Boom. Okay, where's... Oh, no, it's not a Bitcoin article. There's going to be Bitcoin. I know there's Bitcoin. Nope, a lot of BBC articles about Canada's COVID response, though. I mean, by a lot, I mean one. So I've assumed something. Okay. Fucking called it. He's a coach. Hey now,
Actually, like, you guys might have addressed this, and this might be too boring for the chat, but I am curious, since we're all in different countries, how's everyone else's country dealing with the shit? This is a big day in America.
Abigail,
how's America going, John?
I'll have you know, America's freedom has repelled COVID because of our freedom has, of course, stopped COVID. And it's right. America's fucked, but like, at least I'll say this about Joe Biden's speech about January 6th is it wasn't the speech I would have given, which my speech would have been, "Attention all who involved. Death is coming. Death is coming." His was like, "Hey, when you lose an election, you just have to lose it. You punk bitch." I don't think he said punk bitch, but all the other thing, it was very, happy Jan 6th.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine. Like, it is what it is. I had a very frustrating audition situation. That's all. Like, what are we supposed to do to memorialize Jan 6th? The Daily Show erected a bunch of memorials to Ted Cruz and Marjorie Taylor Greene all over New York City, which I think is really funny.
That's
of what they actually did and like the death it caused is very funny. But like besides, like I don't know how to feel about January 6th except to be like, yep, that's how I could have told you. That's probably how that presidency was going to end, and not as a lot less death than I figured. Yeah, like
I think it's just a never forget day. It's just like, oh, don't forget. Like,
yeah.
People will try to take over your country
Also-
from time to time. Heads
also
up. Stay vigilant.
let's make sure. No, I think you also need to remember it's like that. It's this like what to actually remember. Like the big takeaway should probably be: don't trust a bunch of articles you read on Facebook by a guy named Ali Alexander. Like, what the like? It's so fucking weird. I don't know what's the entire Stop the Steal movement and that riot was caused by one guy named Ali Alexander who had a charity called Stop the Steal that was organized in 2016, and the entire plan was implemented for when Hillary was supposed to win and beat Donald Trump. They were going to do this then, and then it didn't work, so they like just left the infrastructure for 4 years, and then he lost to Biden, and then they were like, oh, he didn't lose, Stop the Steal, and then they just resurrected all of this sort of stuff, and this infrastructure was built. Like, it's one of those things where you're like, wow, he got that message out really quickly, and it's because they had built all the Facebook groups, all the articles were already written, and then they just dumped it in, sort of like you're getting ready for the Fringe. You know, when in the run up to the Fringe, you get all of those like what's your favorite food things? Like, imagine that, but for taking over the American democracy with fascism. That's literally what they did. And I'm only putting this metaphor together in my head, and it's making me very sad that it's so exactly what it is. Their Fringe show was January 6th. I gotta say, I'm giving it a 4 out of 5.
I love the idea of them having an intern that they like go into, and they're like, you have to change all the articles from Hillary to Biden. Like,
Control
someone
F.
did that.
Yeah.
Like, someone had to go through every single one and change the name of the Democratic.
I bet if you went back and read them all, there's one that just had a typo in it, and so it's like it said Billary.
Nah.
So it's still
If
like
you're
Biden,
working, if you're working for these people, you know about Control F. Like,
yeah, but you can't Control F for a typo. That's what I'm saying. There's one left. That's just.
But what is funny is the actual reality, which was, if you'll notice, they really focused in on, like one of the they focused in on like weird places for the count at first, if you'll notice, and that's because a lot of the documentation was for the states they thought were going to be problematic under Hillary, which is why it took them a while to be like, and Arizona's hinky as well. Yeah. About 40 minutes into the storming, there was a sad bit.
Yeah.
Is that when somebody died?
I mean, 5 people. No, I don't think anyone died 40 minutes in. It took a while. I'd
Well,
imagine there look.
I watched it on, like, obviously on the television, but like I watched it as it was happening because that was the day that the Georgia runoffs, those votes were coming in. So like I woke up, which was like 6 a.m. in the morning over Eastern Standard Time, and it looked like the Democrats were going to get it. And then went on a walk with Rialina, had a lovely day out with Rialina, came home, turned back on the news to double check that like Georgia was going to go blue, and then just kept like the news on as I slowly watched. Like, I didn't understand it at first watching it, and then it was just one of those like, oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah. It was the most bizarre thing to watch.
Do you ever think that America would be better if they'd managed to kill like one senator?
No, it would be so much worse. It would
like if they'd managed to just kill one, and then you could have like a face for it, and then you'd be like, we're gonna hunt these fuckers down, but because they all got away safe, then everybody got to be like, because even all the Republican senators now are like, it was just a thing. Whereas on the day they're like openly weeping on the floor. And
well, that's not that you're misremembering. That's not true.
One person died.
The same people that are going, this is not a big deal, were the same people being like, that wasn't a big deal today. Like, it's not.
No, a lot of them on the day were saying this can't stand. This is bad. There were a lot of Republican senators that have flipped.
Lindsey Graham's speech. He was like,
Lindsey Graham.
I'll wash my hands.
But these were
to do it his way.
Those were not the actual. Those were the guys who jumped on the movement. I can't fucking think of his name right now. There's the really young blonde, super scary guy. Yeah. That guy, literally, his speech was like, didn't agree with this election. Agreed with what happened today. I just drank some blood. Also, I'm definitely some sort of sex criminal. Biden's not my president. Like that. there
Matt
is the-
Gates.
it's not Matt Gates. It's
Okay.
he's
God, I can't remember.
you don't
his name.
you don't know about him because he's being quiet because he's not a goon. Like he's not Ted Cruz or Lindsey Graham who's stupid enough to get quoted. He's a guy that literally
He's the
Jo-
guy who when
Josh
he-
Hawley.
Yeah, he's the
Fuck.
guy who when he walked by the insurrectionists, he held up the fist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, no, he did. He doubled down.
I
Lindsey
think I
Graham
remember
backed out,
seeing
and
the fist.
but Lindsey Graham backed out and was like, "I'm not cool with this anymore." And then like 3 weeks later, it's just like it was stolen, and so did Cruz. Cruz was like, "This has gone too far," and then like 3 weeks later, he's like, all Trumping. This is so fucked up.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something happy. Let's talk about COVID again. Let's talk about something joyful.
I would like to point out the senator in question with the fist is named Josh Hawley,
That's
and
it.
his wife. Are you ready for this? Oh no, it's Aaron. I thought her name was Edna Morrow Hawley, and I was like, oh, what an absolute racist wife's name.
Anyone else think he was going to say Adele? His
Yeah,
wife,
me too.
Yeah, I really
Adele.
thought you were gonna
And his wife Adele. It's Adele.
That'd
Can
be
I
a big
ask
turn
this?
for her.
What a reveal.
Ashley and Abigail, you guys have dated people. Have you ever dated or been on a date with a crazy right-wing person? This is going towards a hypothetical that I will illuminate in a moment. I'm going to ask the base of this first. First of all, I love the reactions. I love the consideration.
Yeah,
I like.
I remember once going on a was it Tinder back then? It might have been Tinder. Guy in New York, and I know this is a weird thing to bring up, but I feel like it's important. He was born without sweat glands. He's a white
So you
guy.
dated Prince Andrew?
You dated Prince Andrew?
Yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
dated Prince
I'm
Andrew.
so angry you got to that first. I was as soon as he says well, I was like, well, someone got to bring a friend.
He was like, he's a white guy. He was like born without sweat glands, and he grew because I had a lot of questions because he grew up in Texas.
This is a weird thing to say. As soon as you said no sweat glands, I just assumed white guy. I don't know why, but that seems like a white person problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
Like black people in America have enough problems that if they had no sweat glands, they'd never get to telling you about it because they'd just be telling you all the times a police officer tried to racially profile them on this. Why weren't you sweating? Funny story.
He seemed so cool and calm.
Exactly. All right. So white guy who can't sweat.
So we were like getting coffee down in like the Lower East Side or whatever, and we were talking. I was doing comedy at the time, and I don't know. He asked who my favorite comic was, and I found it's easier always to just say George Carlin because if you go into any contemporary comics, no one but us knows who they are. Like
Yeah.
even the ones who we know are famous, like unless you follow comedy, like people are like Patton Oswalt, what's that? And you're like the voice of Ratatouille, and they're like, oh, is he anyway? So I was like George Carlin, and he just kind of goes, oh, is he that Jew comedian? And I was like, first of all, no, famously Catholic,
First date material.
famously Catholic, and I don't know how he like divulged this to me, but it kind of threw me with the way he said it.
Yeah.
And he kind of explained to me that he wasn't racist. It's just that he was raised to believe that he was better than like people of color and like Jewish people that like, and because he was raised like that, he can't help but think it. And I was like,
He's right. That nothing racist about that.
right.
Yeah, I gotta tell you.
But it wasn't
What an
like
excuse.
it wasn't like an exploration of the systemic problems within his life. He was just like, I grew up thinking that. So and I was just like, okay. So I just finished my coffee and laughed.
He's just like, I'm racist, but I don't feel guilty about it.
Yeah.
I mean, is there nothing a straight woman hasn't put up with in the effort to fuck? Do you know what I'm saying? I am a straight white man. Here's what I have to put up with having to attempt to ever, let's say one day I want to have sex with a stranger, I need to have an ability to get near a dating app and enough time to just communicate, hello, I won't. immediately show you my dick or murder you. For a straight woman, it's like the idea. Oh, I'm gonna go for coffee. It'll be on the Lower East Side, a lovely neighborhood in Manhattan. I'll have to explain to an adult the definition of what racism is, and he will think I'm wrong.
Imagine living in New York and in the first like 10 minutes of meeting someone being like, "You mean that Jew?" And it's like, "Do you even know what city you're in?"
Yeah, I was like, do you know, like,
Hang on.
Bit?
Wait. We're missing Abigail. You're Jewish.
No, I'm not. Everyone just thinks I am because I look like it and I sound like it in my name, which is a good point, actually.
I thought you. No, isn't it something like your dad's Jewish, but your mom isn't, so technically not Jewish?
No, there's no.
I guess
like,
that guy you were on a date with isn't the only racist.
I do have a sister who converted to Judaism, but like there's no Jewish like lineage in my family that I am aware of. But the thing is like he was explaining to me how he can't help but I think he might have even said that like white people are superior to black people. And all I could think was, you don't fucking have sweat glands. Like, you're not better than
because he's never had to be nervous in his life. Like,
well, because he like I asked him, I was like, what do you do when you get hot? And he has to physically pour water on his body to cool his skin off.
Wait a minute. This motherfucker's never heard of a shower before?
No, but like if he's like cycling or something, like you know when you work out and your core heats up, and the way your body cools down is by sweating, because that's what also cools down your core so you don't overheat.
Yeah.
So the only way he can exercise is by constantly dumping water on his body.
While thinking,
you got to do that on stage.
I am better than black people. Yeah. He literally, bear in mind, he's doing this. Better than a black guy. Like, yeah. So much better than that Jew.
You got to do that on stage. That's so funny.
Jesus.
You don't have sweat glands.
Has someone done the bit, like, and this is purely the bit of just what women have to put up with versus men in dating alone is the most perfect example. Like, think it like just, and even in dating, like the things, I don't think I'm a piece of shit guy, and I've made some demands of women when it comes to dating where they're just like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, by the way, seeing other people. What? You don't need to be so overt about it. I'm being honest. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
Have you ever come across a guy and then been like, oop, you're racist?
Oh,
I
cannot.
I don't know. I don't talk to them that much.
You just get straight into the ass.
That's right.
It's a puts that foot on the gas pedal. You know?
Yeah. Ashley's big move is that she just waits for a gentleman to be sat in a chair and then she just kicks them in the dick.
No.
And
hang on, I thought of him.
Oh yeah, there he is. Good. Yeah.
And I think I've actually mentioned this before, but there's a thing that can happen with British guys when you're Irish.
Oh, I bet.
And
I'm sure there is.
Yeah, and it's a real like
do they do your accent back to you? I will be going to the bar.
No.
That's
It's like they think that it's like they think that Irish girls are just inherently sluttier and dirtier and like. So what I think it comes from, because I have noticed it from.
I love that the two guys are like, well,
having tested
I'm not the
field.
best example.
Yeah, I was like, Abigail, I want you to know, my field study is on the show. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm not the best person to refute this argument, but it's a slightly different tone. It's like
brilliant.
What I think I've narrowed it down to is that it happens. The guy that I had a really weird time with was from Birmingham, and it comes from like Birmingham, Liverpool, Manchester, and Glasgow, right? These are the working cities. The
Just
The
before
proto-Irish.
Just before the chat blows up, I just want to point out one of those cities, not in fact in England.
No, I do know that.
Oh, okay.
But it is also
Ladies and
something that
gentlemen, we
happens a
just
little
got
bit in
rated.
Glasgow.
First rate video 2022.
Giants of Raid. Welcome to the Untitled Twitch stream with John and Chris and Ashley. Stick around and give us a follow. You are awesome.
Welcome, Raiders. Welcome aboard, Raiders.
Welcome,
we are
Raiders.
talking racists, baby. More importantly, racists.
Solid raid message. Solid raid message.
That is a solid raid message. You do look like Mario. Welcome aboard the Macaroni Prince. Welcome, Coco-wee. Welcome, Dev Comfy. So you're with this guy.
Yeah.
He's from one of the working cities.
Yeah, it's so I do know that Glasgow is in Scotland, but it's something you less often, but still sometimes come across it in Glasgow as well, which is this like thing of guys assuming that because you're Irish, you're going to be down for anything and you're really filthy and all this sort of thing. And what I think it probably stems back to is, you know, the fact that these were the cities where Irish people came to work. And anywhere that you have people going to work, you have women going to work and they're going to do sex work. And I think it stems from that a little bit. I always think that there's like historical reasoning behind a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if I'm going
Yeah,
by
it's all
the-
half truths that have been passed down.
if I'm going
Rumors and
by
stuff.
the list of quote unquote, what was this? It was some fucking shitty Essex comedian. Like my first month living in the UK, turned to me in a cab going towards an Ian Franklin gig and said, "In order, here's who the slappers are on this island."
Oh wow.
And then listed it.
And then did he just name them? Tiffany, Sarah.
No.
Alice.
In this order, it was my favorite part. He went Scotland, and then he went Ireland, Northern Ireland. Bear in mind, so he's counting the Republic as part of the United Kingdom.
You know what? He gets points for knowing that Ireland and the north of Ireland are different things.
Bear in mind, he went
Very few
Ireland.
people know that.
You're not going to like this, though. He went
The bar is
Scotland,
so low.
Ireland, our Ireland,
Yeah.
England, Wales. And also in the most English thing, of course, Wales is last, England second last. But yeah, never forget that. I'll never
Oh,
forget
wait.
that.
Kimmers is coming in
Yeah.
with a date story here.
Yeah,
I had a date earlier in the year with a guy who seemed nice. First date was coffee, and during that time, he outed his trans friend. Said women are too angry, mistook kinks for gender. What?
How do you do that?
Said it was getting out of hand, and tried to convince me wearing masks caused pleurisy. I'm not sure what that is. While wearing a mask that looked like a mechanic's rag. Not had another date with anyone since. Oh,
Jesus.
that's so many
Cameron.
things. That's so many things in a row.
My
I got news.
condolences.
I got news for you.
Pleurisy is like your lungs get inflamed or something.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I hate society now because all of the assholes just have learned smart fuck words and are just using them. And it's just like, can you stop saying research? We actually need that to describe research. Like you're ruining it. Like,
Okay,
what are you doing?
I've got it here. Pleurisy is a condition in which pleura, two large thin layers of tissue that separate your lungs from their chest wall, becomes inflamed. So you get,
I was right then.
You get fat lungs. Yep. Thanks so much for following. Welcome to the Druggies. You become a real Will Duggan. You get your fat lungs.
Stupid fat lungs.
I just remembered in terms
Thanks
of
for following.
right wing
Welcome to Druggies.
dudes, I didn't date this person or have anything remotely. This person was married, but just in terms of really, really right wing experiences, I worked with him in Prague, and he was clearly one of these people that had gone to Eastern Europe to find a wife. And he
Cool. I bet
was a
he's reasonable.
he was from Florida. He was Latino, but he was a former U.S. Marine.
Okay.
And I came into work one day and I sat down next to him and he just turns to me and he just goes, I bet you get a lot of attention from black guys.
Yeah.
And I was just like, excuse me? He was like, you got that ass, don't you? I was just like, no.
Okay, Abigail,
No.
John, you both lived. You're Abigail. You're from the States. John, you're living in the States for the last few years. That feels like a less offensive thing to say in America than it is in the UK because
No,
of the
it's-
way the States wears its race problem. People
It's
are
one
just
of the-
very like in your face. And I'm not saying it's cool, but it feels like it's a lower grade. There.
It's like
Am I off?
I feel like it would be like someone would be like, what is it, 15 years ago? Like, what do you no, we don't like it's one of
Okay.
those things where it's like, what? No. What are you still watching Friday? Like, what the fuck,
Yeah.
man? Like it's one of those things where it doesn't
It's classic.
it's also that thing of you have to remember that I live in Los Angeles. So it's that like an argument could be made. I do not live in America. I live in the People's Republic of Mexiconia. Like it's like there's no like there's so many things that are so Southern California centric. Like
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about you, Abigail? What do you think?
I mean, that just resonates with me so much, Ashley, because I've heard that as well. And
Yeah.
what I hate about it is I'm always like, yes, but that has nothing to do with anything. Like, like,
I always
don't
feel like
know.
you're talking to me like this. How do you talk to black women? That's my
Yeah, it's
immediate thought every time
weird.
that happens.
They don't.
White guys must love you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's always because like you know, you said that you know, like California is a different thing. Like I lived in New York for 10 years and that was like my dating experience, like from 18 to 28 was New York City. So I don't know. Like the thing is about that specific sentence is oddly enough, if I like cast my mind back to like my single slutty years, it wasn't a lot of white guys who would say that to me.
I have had
was-
it from black guys
it
as
was
well.
black guys' way in. You know what I mean? They were
Yeah.
like, this is the thing that sucks about being a curvy girl, is because guys will be hitting on you and you'll be like, this is vibing. I am into this. And then all of a sudden they'll be like, you're beautiful. And you'll be like, thanks. And they'll be like, I like curvy women. And you're like, I know. But then all of a sudden they just like drop
It becomes
in.
a thing.
It's like an egg. It's like,
Yeah.
they're like,
Yeah.
I appreciate your unconventional beauty.
Yeah,
it's just
it's
really-
shitty.
Is that like how like when guys are hitting on Evelyn Mock, they bring up kung fu?
Oh
Do
my
they
god,
really?
the amount of different yes, there's so many different stories that woman has of just like they said, what then? Do you have a ticket? Because I'd like my laundry, Evelyn. Like they literally like they're like, that's wild. That's an exaggeration.
one. Yeah.
But
Okay.
like I'm in like that is in the ballpark of the things that are central. I by the way, and this is going to a couple. First of all, coming in from Yes Meatballs, summating that entire comment, which is that comment just screams, I have opinions about interracial
Yes.
sex, which is such a good way to describe it. And also coming in from Flowing Mullet. Also, are every other race of male not allowed to like an ass? Because if that's true, the revolution starts now. Behind me, brothers. Like,
Yeah.
I remember.
It's they're fetishizing
Yeah,
you
they're
as well
fetishizing.
sometimes, and it's really fucking weird. That's what the Irish thing is about that guy I was saying earlier. It's like you're being fetishized as an Irish person. It's really fucking weird.
Well,
I had
like-
this once where someone tried to do that where someone was like, she's really into Canadian girls. And I was like, that's not or guys. Because and they're like, she's really into Canadian. I was like, it's not a thing. That's not no one's into Canadian. Let's just say like, yeah, I'm into mostly white dudes. That's but like that's just everybody. Like, come on. It was wild. Sorry. what
It's
were you
like,
saying?
but less about like finding out someone's race. Is like Ashley, when you met, like when I was single, I would often jump into the bed before really speaking to someone, and then And then, yes, but then the thing is like you get to know a guy like after you do the deed once or twice, and then you look over and you're like, oh fuck, you like really hate women.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens way too often.
Like,
Thank you for following.
Way
Welcome
too
to-
often.
like it's like, oh, this isn't. Oh, we aren't playing. I'm gonna go now. I'm just gonna go.
Okay, let me ask you
Yeah.
this question. This is a hypothetical. This is for everyone. You have a one night stand with a person. It is the most mind blowing sex you've ever had. No kinks or moves need to be discussed, but it is, as it turns out, your most. Wake up in the morning. You're having coffee. No awkwardness. That individual reveals they participated in the January 6th insurrection, and they were totally fine with what happened that day. Do you sleep with them again? I will give you my answer. No, but they will
No.
feature prominently in future jacks for the rest of my life. And they will be always paired with a person I've thought they wouldn't like as a little subconscious punishment. That's my answer.
Wait a minute. Back up. When you have future in the wank bank, you put other people who are not you, like you pair, you
Threesome.
couple.
Threesome.
Oh,
Yeah,
threesome.
fantasy.
Okay.
Threesome, of course.
Okay.
Yeah,
My
yeah, yeah.
apologies.
I was
no,
I had a similar.
I'm glad. I
John
appreciate the
John
clear-
gets cucked in his Jo fantasies. That's interesting.
Not always. Not always. Yeah, listen, you throw one in. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes.
No, I wouldn't sleep with them again, but I would 100% talk about it in explicit detail on stage. Like, I would.
Of course.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's a punchline win for sure.
Yeah.
Whatever comment it is they just said, word for word is your punchline.
I want to say like I'm thinking back to when I was sleeping around because I've been with Sadaf for 8 years now, so like now it's a different my head's in a different spot. But I know that when I was sort of fucking everybody, here's what would have happened. I would have said, absolutely not. There's no way. And then 2 weeks later,
And
I would
then
have
you
gotten
would've-
very drunk.
Yeah.
And then I
Of
would have
course.
texted them at 1 a.m. and
Okay,
100% would
you
have
know
done it.
what? You know what, Mr. Chris Betts? Now that you say that out loud, that sounds really familiar to my own story.
Absolutely. I knew it. I want you to both know. In my head, when I was going through this thing, I went, Ashley and I will be the moral and good boys. And absolutely not. Goodbye, good sex. And then I knew fucking the scumbag twins would absolutely fucking just be like, how dare you? Oh, hello.
Well, see,
Yeah.
I'm always pretty good at like pump 'em and dump 'em. Like I've slept with the same person twice on 3 occasions, and that's
Ashley's
it.
never had a second date.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? See, I
That's
like
not true.
Oh, that's right. One second date.
Second day.
My first second date was before Christmas, and there will not be a third.
Incremental progress. To quote
Yeah.
Bill Murray in What About Bob?
I hit that
baby
milestone
steps.
though.
when I was in my single days, I really didn't date anyone, but I had what I called the rotation,
Mhm.
where I would have about 4
I love
guys
that.
that I was casually sleeping with.
Yeah.
All, by the way, aspiring comedians as well. So I mean, they all knew what I was doing. Like we
Yeah.
all pretended.
Yeah.
But yeah, around once a week, you just cycle them through, and it was great. It was a good time.
Yeah, that's
I
how
had to
I
leave
lived for
country,
years
but
as well.
Other
It was,
than that, it was fabulous.
it was great. I would only have one comedian at a time though. So I would like
Oh.
have a comedian and then a poet and like a musician. And so it was always sort of similar world, but they weren't seeing each other every day.
Yeah,
That
see, I
was-
was really
that feels taut.
really indiscriminate. I was
Yeah.
not. If I could go back and maybe do that a little differently, I might. But it's just we were all drunk. It was in
I
New
agree.
York.
Yeah.
I
It was
agree.
it was late night, and I'm sorry, there's so many dudes. You don't have to go far, there's so many dudes. But yeah, I would have done it a little differently. Well, no, I wouldn't, because I would have been the same person then. But looking back, I'm like, I could have been choosier.
By the way, I'm a big fan of at some point in your life as a stand-up comedian, you just have to really sleep with some comedians, and then figure out what kind of human being you are. And here's what I say: if you're a good person, you'll be just fine because you'll end all of those situations with respect. Also, I have a couple of quick clarifications. Boomstickery. What was a whole saga and what other streams weighed in on what? We're all very confused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't know.
What other streams are getting on this?
Yeah, exactly. What other streams are talking about? Which what now? Also, so but yes, no, I would say that my favorite was Go ahead, Ashley. You what?
No, I cut across you.
Fox. Interesting.
But what was the whole
what was
saga?
he said?
Second date?
Fox is.
Oh, he wanted an exclusive on the date.
Oh, that was a while ago. No,
Yeah,
that was
so
a
you were in the
different
chat for
thing.
that. That's all right. It's not behind your back. You were there.
I'm so glad we asked. Oh, that was
I
phenomenal.
am so glad we asked.
Oh, there was some off-stream information that you could like that. Let's put it this way, everyone listening. I just got my own personal Untitled Twitch stream, and it was watching Ashley's face in that moment because it was like, who's been talking about this information in public?
Guys, I don't know if you've considered upping your donation to the Patreon to get the private chat, but I honestly can't recommend it enough.
I
There's,
mean,
there are
Wait
good
a minute,
podcasts going on right now.
can they see it?
They can't
It costs
see that.
$100,000.
It costs
It
Oh,
costs
okay.
$100,000
I
to
was
buy
gonna say
it.
we can't have that out there. I thought that was just us.
I want you
I
to
mean,
know.
it sounds like
that
it's already out there, but
I was
It is
thi-
just
I-
us.
I was thinking about that story that you put in the private chat as soon as we went into the Sleeping with Comedians, and I was like, I know someone who's got a great version of this and is the greatest example of it ever. Oh my
That's
god,
so
I
funny.
laughed.
That's so funny.
What was even better is, do you remember telling me that story? Do you remember telling me that story, Abigail?
I was gonna say I don't like. Did I tell you when we were in Melbourne? Like
I
don't
told
remember
you
telling-
told me when we were in Adelaide, and now you're about to realize why you do not remember telling me, which was when we went on the wine tour and they didn't give us
dear
any.
God.
They didn't give us
No,
any.
did I tell everyone?
No, you just
Did I
told
tell
me.
Mary?
You did not tell Mary. I mean, Mary may have heard. We were all at a table, but it was just you and I talking, and we were so drunk. I went and called my my now ex-wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, and on the phone said, I have blacked out, so write down what you are saying so you remember to tell me again. And then she apparently said, you want to get off the phone? And I said, no, I'm having a nice time. And then we just talked for a while.
Oh, that's great.
But yeah, you told me that entire story, and I remember then you yelled at the end of it. You went, but don't tell nobody. And I was like,
I've always been quite good at the whole sleeping with a lot of people in the same circles. And
really?
it not becoming a thing or a problem. I remember
That's a real skill.
Yeah, I remember there was a couple of comics I'd slept with. One of them might have been a GSA situation, and no, sorry, there was one comic I'd slept with on this night out, and then I started talking to another comic, and then the first guy that I slept with before came up to me as he was leaving, and he just like, I don't remember what he said, but it was basically like, "Get it, girl."
But do you think that might be tied to, because it can be tough for a lot of different people, but you are so clear that there is no romantic future in any of this. And
Yeah,
I don't
probably.
think you necessarily say it overtly, but I think there's got to be
don't.
something about the way that you act in these situations where they're just like, this is just tonight. Like there is no fucking future
Yeah.
here. That must take everything off the table, because that's always the danger, is jealousy, right? Jealousy comes from feelings
Mhm.
and a sense of connection. And so if they're
Yeah.
just like, we have no connection, we fuck, then it's
I
like,
think it's
everyone's fine.
essentially I don't behave any differently. I'm just, playing footsie while I'm talking to you and behaving exactly the same as I am with everyone else. Like, I
She's
don't know.
talking
I
about
don't-
right now.
footsie with your balls.
Ashley and I
Balls.
are playing
Yeah.
footsie right now. Cross continents.
Well,
Yeah.
Oh my god, what's actually really funny is that the person I slept with that night then did the same thing to me at the So You Think You're Funny after party.
Nice.
As in,
That's
like,
supportive.
came up and
You
was
keep
like,
that
the guy
person in
you're
the
the guy you're
rotation.
getting with is really hot right now. I was just like, yeah, I know.
That's awesome. It all comes down to all the parties involved. Chris and I had a situation where we discovered that we were both dancing in the same yard. And I remember in my head being like, that's cool, I'm fine with that. But there was one person who was also someone who had jumped that fence, shall we say, that we all knew, like, that person's not going to be able to handle that information, and near the sheer scope of which of the other people that are in the fenced in area. There's in fact two, both of which will be going into they're going in the private chat right now, and then we'll get off the subject because the chat will revolt. So this was the first one who could never find out.
There's one that I'm guessing.
There's one that just caught mad feelings. It was very early on, which was this one who, like,
Yeah. That's what I was thinking of.
and then there was another
Yeah,
one
he
who was,
could not have coped. He would have.
there was another one who was just very weird about the whole thing. Who was that one?
Oh yeah, he would be.
That checks out. That
He,
checks out.
he strikes me as someone who would be, at the end of the day, very possessive.
He got weird because he's one of the few guys. This happens a lot with dudes to dudes. Yeah, very clear. And I've been victim of this a few times, which is I have slept with someone in a consensual, delightful way. Then years later, they date someone else in stand-up comedy, and then the man is angry at me for sleeping with their girlfriend in a time when they did not exist in their life. That has happened to me 2 times. One of the times, it was so fucking crazy. Like, it was so bananas. Has not spoken to me since.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shit.
Like, not spoken to me since.
Sounds like a delight to be involved with romantically.
If
Sounds
I
like
see
a
him
really
on
cool
the
relationship.
If I see him on the streets, there will be a metric of I walk up to this guy and go, "Do we have a fucking problem?" Because if we have a fucking problem, we can figure it out. Because what the fuck are you doing? Because I'm pretty sure he stopped me from getting one job, which is fine, but he since has been fired from his job. So let's see what power you have now, motherfucker. Yeah.
Well, I want that name, obviously.
Yeah, put that name in this.
You guys will not know his name, but I will put it.
That's fucked, man. When people were like, "How dare you do a thing?" before I even knew this existed, is like, we all need therapy, but you really need therapy.
Yeah, you're a little bitch, is what you are. You're a little fucking bitch.
PD, what's up, buddy? Good to see you.
PDMG, what's up, my friend? I was in a PDMG. I was going to shoot you a text when I was in the UK. Yeah, it doesn't really matter, but yeah. Also, by the way, he's not that successful. That girl, crazy successful, super crazy successful. Yeah,
nice one.
On TV in a country.
Amy Schumer.
It was in fact Sarah Silverman.
Wow.
Let me ask you guys this question. What have you guys ever been on a date or in a dating or sexual situation and the person dropped something that they thought was, I'm so excited to go. I don't know.
That's a guess. I don't know if that's who it is, but that's
no, that is not the person at
Okay.
all. But no, this person's in a different country, but great guess. Great guess. Great guess. I
But
wouldn't be
did
surprised.
something happen with that person?
Nothing happened with that person and me.
Oh,
But I know
would have
a
loved
bunch-
to have slept with that person. I remember meeting them when I was singing, and I was like, I'd really like to sleep with you. I bet that's very fun.
I had the exact same thought, and then I'm like, and it was at a time where I was like, Chris looks so adorable this evening. It's hard to take him seriously. So I feel every night. I remember that with that exact person, and then just thought, I think we're just going to be friends.
Yeah.
And I then watched so many different male comedians embarrass the fuck out of themselves in an effort.
That's great.
And I was just like, Johnny did it right.
Yeah.
Johnny played it right. Johnny played it cool.
Yeah.
Johnny's smart. Yeah. So good. So good. And then they, of course, also. Oh, fantastic.
I think a friend of mine might have embarrassed himself going up to her.
Oh yeah, I bet you they have. Because it's
Somebody who's
nothing
been
better.
on the show, but
Are you typing? Is this awful for the? Oh, I don't.
yes,
I don't know. these people.
Oh,
Is this?
yeah,
This
yeah,
is
yeah.
always the point.
I think he did that.
whenever I'm on this show and we get to the point where we start secret chatting and then like obtusely talking, I'm always like, are you enjoying this?
I never know if they are enjoying. Let's ask.
I have no idea.
Because there are people from comedy who are in the chat.
Yeah,
I always am like, and occasionally we have gotten messages off being like, I'm gonna need that name. Like there's been a couple of people.
Yeah, there's been some WhatsApp messages that show up every now and then. And it's
boy.
Hit me on the private chat.
Is PD? Is PD MCG Paul Duncan McGarity?
Yeah.
ABD baby, always be doxing. Yes.
Yeah. Certainly is.
The private chat stuff is very
Paul. I didn't realize
dull.
it was you.
How dare you know that's
I was
not true?
thinking that they might enjoy the reactions a little bit because we react.
Yeah, but hang on, point about but I also need to get those names.
I just started asking.
I mean, it's hard to. I mean, that's true. I wish I knew this mystery woman who is embarrassing men.
She's very famous. You definitely
She's very
know
famous
who she is.
for
She's
embarrassing men.
I mean, wait a minute. We can absolutely say who that famous woman is.
No,
because
we can't.
Why not?
Why not? We haven't said anything about her.
We haven't said anything bad. She wasn't the person that voted.
Yeah,
she was
no,
a very.
We can.
Yeah, we could just say that person. Can we? Why are? Hang on. Why are you hesitating? Why are you hesitating? That
It's Aisling B. It's done. It's done.
Okay, Aisling B, who no one has slept with on this stream,
No.
who a lot of male comics tried it on with and
Oh my
royally
God.
failed,
Like-
struck out. It's like we
So
would just
funny.
watch people walk up to her
Can I-
and
can I-
then walk back with.
All
her
right. If
chest
we're being
between
this
their
overt,
legs.
I am telling this story, and I love it so much. I don't know. I don't remember which comedian it was because it was 2013, and that was the end of the Fringe where Johnny drank. But I do remember we were at that weird ditch in front of the Gilded Balloon where the library bar is, the smoking section that's lower underneath.
Yeah.
We're in there. It's a bunch of people at the very far back. We're all smoking, laughing, having a good time. Aisling is at a picnic table here. A male comic, I cannot remember, arrives, no drink, arrives, leans in, quick bit of chat. And then I just heard, no, seriously, no. And then stood up. The look of a man who's been rejected. It's very specific. Just a nod, turn on the heels, walk through the party and leave. Get the fuck out. Oh, amazing. It was.
Do we know who that person was?
Man
I
with a
can't remember.
plan.
I can't remember
Oh,
who
you
it was.
said that, yeah.
It was one. Okay, I can give you a vibe. It was one of those guys that was around the Invisible Dot a lot, who's always in the fucking Brooks bar.
James Acaster?
It is not James Acaster.
Was
it
it
is
the
not.
guy who just got in trouble for like harassing a bunch of women after he went on American television, but he's British? What's his name?
James Veach. James Veach. It was not James Veach. No, we're talking like more high level. We're not talking a creep. We're talking a guy who's thought he could maybe,
I did hear she was excellent on Doctor Who.
She's so
Yeah.
talented.
Oh, I didn't know.
She's so good.
She's amazing.
incredibly
She's so
talented.
fucking
Amazing.
funny.
And
Her
so
series
nice.
is on Netflix as well. This way up.
By the
It's
way,
really good.
I have watched The Fall for the first time, and she is in the last season of that. And I literally watched it last night, and that's why her name sprung to mind. For those of you who are like, well, then why did she even guess her? Because I literally was like, oh, my friend Aisling was in this show like 5 years ago, and I had no idea. I should
Yeah.
send her a text. And then, of course, I didn't.
I mean, yeah, that show took a sharp downturn though, did it not?
Yeah, it's weird. It's getting very weird.
It's really fucking weird.
I haven't finished it yet, but I'm just kind of like, well,
It's not worth it.
only 6 episodes a season. Do you know what it's like to be an American who watches
yeah.
American television when the show turns? Because it is 25 episodes
Yeah.
a season. So
Yeah.
you think I can't stick
Yeah.
around for 4 more episodes?
Okay. That's
I
fair.
can stick
That's
around
fair.
for 4 more.
Also, sidebar. Ashley, have you ever seen The Good Wife?
No, but my folks were obsessed with it.
It's good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's one of those shows where it's like you think it's going to turn and then it just doesn't. It's really good. It's
Okay.
very good. Yeah. Chris, is that a mug root beer?
No, it's a Little Wonder dark lager.
Oh, well, it is Thursday.
I am
and also
out
I'm
of
gonna
whiskey.
be.
How much longer are we going for, guys? Can I
No,
write down?
Go grab one.
Easily
Yeah,
20
we
minutes.
got another like 20 to 40 minutes, depending on how much fun we're having.
20 to 40 minutes, depending
I
on
mean-
when we want to call it. Go get a drink is what we're
Go
saying.
get a drink.
I'll be right back, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'm
am
I'm gonna be editing
on my
jokes today, so I was
way-
like, I'm gonna get a little buzzed.
Yeah. On my way back from Ireland, it's all duty free when you fly back into the UK from Ireland now, which is fucking amazing.
Fuck yeah, cigarettes, bro. Sorry. Dude,
However,
duty-free is
I'm
no
broke.
fun.
So I just got I got loads of little bottles of whiskey
Oh, great.
Nice.
so that I can try a load of them, and they're so cute. Slight problem, I can't open them.
Your hands
Elaborate?
are too big?
My hands
Have
are
they got
very
tiny little
weak,
corks?
and they have tiny little screw tops, and 2 of them will not open. And now I'm not looking to drink them straight away, but you know, I'd like to have the option.
But it sounds like
Yeah.
you have tried to open every single one of them already.
Yeah, did you try and open all of the bottles? Did you really try and open all the little whiskeys all at once just to make sure? What was
Just
your
to smell
plan there?
them. I just wanted
I don't
to
think it was
smell
just
them.
the smell. I don't think it was
It
just the
was.
smell. All right.
They're still full.
I mean, I feel like we all are having. You have little bottles of whiskey. Chris has got a beer. I got very excited because my delightful beechwood scented candles finally arrived because of supply line issues. It's been months, guys, and my apartment is without fresh, delightful candle smell. But not anymore. Now I get the sweet, sweet smell of beechwood.
I just got myself a few little ones because I won't be buying anything for a while. Unless I get this job tomorrow. We'll see.
Man, if you work in a bowling alley,
Do you think the bowling alley will have
I
some
love
sort of
that.
you have to play the old person who had your job component to get the job? You know, you have to beat the old assistant manager in
out-bowl
bowling. Yeah, you have to outbowl the assistant manager to get the gig. That's what I feel it
That
should
would
be.
be a fun way to get a job. I'm surprisingly good at bowling for somebody who hasn't done it that much. I'm relatively okay at it.
I like that.
Would you like to know who's one of the worst bowlers in the history of time? Right here. How you doing?
That guy?
Yeah,
I
I
got
didn't need
yelled-
you to tell me that.
I got
You're
yelled at by a,
dyspraxic.
I got yelled at by a bowling alley employee for how bad I was bowling. I remember I was 20 years old and I was like, "This is just me," and he didn't believe me. And then he watched the whole game and he's like, "You are really that bad?" And I was like, "Yeah." And it's really weird that you didn't believe me.
Also, why did he care?
Montreal is a really shitty town. Montreal, it was the bowling alley above the Comedy Nest in that weird mall that used to
Oh,
be
yeah.
Forum.
Yeah, I've been in
Very
there.
fun bowling alley, but it's one of those places where Montreal's a great town, but it's one of those places. I feel like Ireland's a bit like this, which is it's filled with people that are like, I'm the big dog in this town. Like a lot of people that it would seem very normal for them walking into a pub, slapping a cricket bat into their palm like this. You know what I mean? Like just an absolute bag of shit.
Cool guys.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
I just remembered the story that I was saving to tell you guys.
I have to pee. Can I pee and then you tell us?
Yes.
Suspension
I-
bros.
I have pictures. I need to line up the pictures.
Oh, you have pictures. There's things to prepare.
I had
So
the
I-
fucking weirdest day back in Ireland.
Dope.
And it's really great. Actually, Abigail, I should catch you up because I know that I've told a little bit of the precursor to this to John and Chris before. So while John has gone to the toilet, do you know who Ian Bailey is?
No.
Okay.
Should
Do
I?
you know who Sophie Tuscan Duplantier is?
Are these like famous people or are these like comedians that I just should
They're
know?
not comedians. So Sophie Tuscan Duplantier was a French woman who was murdered in West Cork in Ireland in 1996.
I only really know American true crime. Sorry.
Fair enough. Ian Bailey is the guy that has always been suspect number one.
Okay.
And this year there was 2 documentaries brought out about the case. One is on Netflix, and
Okay.
one was brought out on Sky by Jim Sheridan.
Okay.
And there's also a really good podcast about it.
I hope this ends with you
Eh.
solving the crime.
It does not, but
Damn it.
I have my opinions about who did it. I don't think it's Ian Bailey. But basically, that's it. There's this whole. It's a really weird case because Ian Bailey is unfortunately the biggest piece of evidence against himself. He's a fucking nut job. Allegedly. I don't know how incriminating I can be about this topic.
As incriminating as the already sanctioned and allowed to be produced documentaries.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Well, this is the thing. Ian Bailey, so he has been convicted in France, but because of Ireland's extradition laws, they won't extradite him to France to be put in prison. He just lives in Ireland. He can never leave Ireland, right? So that is the precursor to the story that I'm about to tell you. But it's just a little bit of information.
I missed the precursor.
No, well, you'd already known it. It was so basically it was just explaining who Ian Bailey and Sophie Duscon de Plantier are.
Perfect.
Who I think I've told you about before. Do you remember who they are?
I do.
Yes. Okay. Let me just find these photographs. Sorry. So I went out for lunch with a friend of mine back in Ireland one of the days after that I got there. We took a drive down to a place called Glengariff, which is off in the mountains, middle of nowhere. We went for a walk. We went for lunch. And we were hoping to go to this hotel for lunch, but it was closed because apparently everything in Ireland in this part of the country is closed at this time of the year because there's just nothing happening. We stroll through the little village to see if there's anywhere open. There is one place open. And this place is called the Perrin Inn. And it is like stepping back in time. Right? Really, really old school. You don't even get given a menu. It's just this little hunched over old Irish lady comes out to you and is like, what do you want? And you just have to go, okay, what is in a traditional Irish pub?
Okay.
So I get soup and my friend gets a toasted sandwich. Like that is.
Oh, fuck. I want to go to this. In my head, I was like, it's a stew and a toasted sandwich. And fuck me, am I happy? I'm so pleased with myself.
And there was, we could have gotten roast beef, but it was early. We weren't going for the roast beef just yet. But my friend, so this is the kind of place that we were in. My friend orders a Diet Coke, gets brought a pot of tea. Like, it doesn't matter what you say, you're getting a pot of tea.
Fuck yeah.
Dope.
We are sat in this pub. We're nearly finished our lunch when we overhear the pub woman talking to the two women at the next table. They're the only other people in the pub. And we overhear them say something about the Garda Commissioner coming down. And we're just like, okay, because the Garda Commissioner will be like, or the state examiner would be coming down from Dublin. There's no state examiner in West Cork.
Okay.
So we're just like, right, what are they talking about? I say to my friend, I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom. You get the scoop. So I come back and she's like, Ian Bailey's living in the house next door. The table behind us that's full of shit, that's his table. He just lives in this pub. So after those two women leave, we go up to pay our bill and we just say to the woman, what were you saying about Ian Bailey to those two women? We want the scoop. And this woman's just like, come on over here. Let me show you where he sits. Take a picture if you want. He gets his post delivered to this pub. He has not asked this woman's permission for any of this. He just has claimed a table, gets his post delivered, has claimed 2 shelves on the wall where he displays his poetry books that are for sale. And this is the really psychotic part, right? He has displayed all the Christmas cards that people have sent him this year since the Netflix documentary came out.
Holy shit.
And there's also a drawing of his face taped up on the wall.
And he put all that there. This woman had nothing to do with it.
He put it all there
with himself. He built a self shrine.
He's built a self shrine.
Wait, so is he like renting a room above the pub, or does he like walk down?
He's like renting a little house next to the pub.
Yeah,
but it has nothing to do with the pub.
Oh, I assumed that they also were his landlords, and he was just like, "What a fucking asshole." I want to point out, and by the way, this is why I know I love the fucking Macron, the president of France, for no other reason that he is just throwing shade at everybody. Like yesterday, where he's just like, "I'm here to piss off the unvaccinated." When visiting Dublin, he suggested that a new trial could be arranged for Bailey if he wants to travel to France, which I just love. Like, just like come to France, we'll give you another trial. You murderous fuck. Like, it's just so fucking weird.
I'm going to send these pictures to the Discord group, guys.
Did you take a photo of the? Did you take?
So I took a photo of the table.
Yes, I want to see it right now.
And I took a photo of the Christmas cards. But I'm just sending them to you so that I can bring them up. How do I? I'm really failing at technology right now.
Hattie says he sells his poetry at the local market too. Hattie, have you read this poetry?
Yeah.
And how good is it?
I assume it's really good. I assume he's very good at poetry. Like, you got to assume.
I feel like it's like grade school poetry where every line rhymes. He doesn't even have like the A-B rhyme pattern. It's just rhyme.
Do you think he does the Untitled Twitch stream rhyme pattern?
What's that?
No idea.
ABD.
Yeah, I knew you were building to something.
I can only figure out how to send them one at a time for some reason. Okay.
Oh, you're here.
That's a famous problem with Discord, is you can only upload one photo at a time.
Oh, okay. It's not just me then.
Is that hilarious? Oh my god. Oh my! I mean, what a fucking Irishy.
How do I see this? Where is this being shown?
This is our private chat.
Right now.
Chris is bringing them up.
I got it.
Oh wait, yeah. Oh, you're bringing them up. Okay, grand.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh my!
I don't know how well you can see that. Let me see if I can zoom in a bit.
So I didn't take good enough pictures because I wasn't focusing on what I was going to be doing with these. But see the little edge of a shelf over to the left? That's another whole shelf of Christmas cards.
What a weird.
Did you read any of them? You'd have to read what was inside.
We read some of them. Most of them were pretty mundane. There was one that was really fucking weird, and I don't remember what it said, but it was basically like, we hope that these angels protect you, and like, it was really fucking weird. Really weird. That's a drawing of him, which I guarantee he's like somebody sent to him, but he drew himself. You know?
Weird.
And then you can see the picture of the table as well.
I got it up. I got it.
And he's just taped. Yeah, that was the weirdest thing about that picture is he's put it into a Polly Pocket and then taped it onto a framed picture.
I love that he has a little Santa hat on. I
can't figure out what the fuck this photo is of.
He's got a Santa hat on a dead plant.
No, he's got a Santa hat on his hat. He has this like fucking ear muff covering hat thing, and it's standing on like a stick or something. And then he's got his coat.
Is that what that is?
It's so fucking weird.
Oh yeah, there's my question.
Yeah.
What happens when the pub's closed? Also, why is he coming into the like?
There's
does
a
he
hat
just
on
like
the plant with a hat on?
He just leaves it there. He was in Cork City on this day. All of this stuff was just left there.
Did he like set up shop there thinking people would come in and like ask for his autograph and his side of the story? He's like
pretty
ready
much
to like.
He had been there that morning with his new girlfriend, who's apparently very young and very attractive.
Yeah, man. Serial killers. Fuck.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
just murderers. Yeah.
Did you see Charles Manson's wife before he died? Beautiful.
Wait, but was that the young one that wanted to sell his body?
That
the
was
one that was only dating him so that she could put his body in a museum and make money off it?
Yeah, come on. Yeah, you. Oh my
god, just an entrepreneur. That's all.
But honestly, like I don't think he did it. He's still a bad person and deserves to be locked up. They have proof enough to put him away for something else that he did. And they don't do it because if they put him away, they won't be able to charge him for Sophie Toscan de Plantier.
You know what? Here's
for
just
whatever
just a nice picture of Ashley.
That's nice.
Well,
Oh,
you
that's
can
nice.
actually see like the pub and stuff in this picture.
Yeah, like I
Uh,
gotta tell you, this looks like a very nice pub, and also way more modern than I was picturing. Also, that fucking toasted sandwich looks like a banger. Also, the most Irish thing I've ever seen. Your soup came with a bowl of chips. Welcome to fucking Ireland, my friend.
Yeah. You cannot have a bowl of soup without soda bread and a bowl of chips.
I will
Like,
never ever forget Paul Byrne explaining to me that in Ireland, if you ordered lasagna, you would also be asked, "Would you like carrots and peas?" Because why the fuck wouldn't you also get some
Yeah.
carrots and peas? What the fuck's your problem? And like, I mean, the chips thing, like I thought it was crazy when I'd see people ordering like spaghetti bolognese with a side of chips, but then I've eaten it. It's fucking awesome. They go
It's class.
so well together. Like you wouldn't think, but it goes so fucking well. The bowl of chips is bigger than the bowl of soup.
So yeah, that was the mad story of us accidentally finding his hidey hole that isn't so hidey.
That's great. Yeah, it's like you found Superman's Fortress of Solitude, but Superman walked into a fucking TGI Fridays and was like, "I get the back booth. Everyone shut the fuck up." Like, it's just-
But honestly, the thing that I just could not stop laughing about all day was the fact that my friend ordered a Diet Coke and got a pot of tea. I couldn't deal with it.
Oh. Ashley, if you find that sort of behavior charming, you should work more in American stand-up comedy clubs because you'd be amazed what you order and then what you get. Yeah, man, I'll have a Diet Coke and a sandwich, or I'll get a Diet Coke and the whatever. They're like, "What's that?" A sandwich and still water. You got it. And you're like, "Okay, good. Now I understand." Yeah. Both
So
brown,
funny.
both caffeinated. Basically
The same thing. Yeah. So funny.
I had the longest day doing the most infuriating audition ever. Would you guys like to hear what I got asked to do for an audition that was stressing me out all day? You're all gonna laugh so hard. So I got a callback for an audition that I really think I'm close for, and it's so much money, and I will know by 5 o'clock, and it's all I can think about. I then had another audition for a role that I was like, if I don't get this, what the fuck? And I walk in, do all of it. Now it's for Haggard Bike Messenger.
Mm-hmm.
That's you.
Right there.
That is
Right there.
you. That's you.
That is me.
You got the broken bones.
That's what I said. They then went, "Can you show us a video of you riding a bike?" And I went, "My bike was destroyed in a bike accident. I don't have a bike." And then they were like, "Well, can you go get a bike?" And I was like, "Where?
Can you buy a bike for this audition?"
And then I was like, "What?" And they're like, "Can you borrow a bike from a friend?" And I'm like, "For when?" And they're like, "I don't know, like the next hour." And I was like, big answer's no, guys. No, I can't do that. And then they were like, "All right, well," and I was like, "So should I not come?" And then I got on my agent on the phone, and my agent talks to someone else. They come back
That's
and they're
something they
like,
should tell you in advance too, by the way.
I know. I'm well aware
Right.
of this.
Bring your own bike.
It gets even better, which was their solution to not having a bike is, can you make a video on your phone explaining that you do know how to ride a bike and that you've had some experience riding a bike? And then and so that's what I did. Do you understand, ladies and gentlemen? You are looking at a adult human being who had to use the technology of now to videotape a video of me, and I set up a tripod. I was almost late for this stream because it was literally like back and forth negotiated, and then I had to say it, and I realized as I was doing it, I'm not getting this part. They hate me now because of the amount of effort I've made them, and also I guarantee one of them is like, "Why are we doing this? This is really stupid. We could just sue these people if they can't ride a bike."
Well, and you know that the only reason they do that is because someone at some point lied about being able to ride a bike in a movie 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And now they're like, we always got to ask. Can't take it for granted.
But if that
adults just
doesn't
ride bikes
so
anymore.
succinctly sum up what it's like to get any job now.
I was actually a bike messenger in New York, and no
can see you slapping
criteria
hoods.
needed. No criteria. I
Yeah.
answered a Craigslist ad. Anyone could do it.
Yeah, the thing with being a bike messenger is not. It is much like stand-up comedy. If you can just locate the person to pay you, guess what? You have that job. There's no interview process.
Didn't even have a bike much like our
Of
friend
course.
John
Why would-
Hastings, I didn't have a bike when I applied to be a bike messenger. I got the job, and then they were like, "Go get a bike," and I
Nice.
like bought a bike for 50 quid off a friend of mine. Like,
Yeah. You're 100% right, and you did the right thing. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. By the way, anyone who lies in an audition and then doesn't just figure out how to cover that lie on the day of the shoot, well, then you're not a fucking actor. Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at a guy who auditioned to do a 30-hour improv-a-thon. They said, we have enough people to do improv on the stage, but it says here you know how to play the piano. I played from the ages of 4 to 12. And I said, that's right. I know how to play the piano real well. And they went, okay, great. Because our piano player can only be here for the first and last hour. Can you just play piano for the other 38 hours? And I went, yes. And then I called my friend who is a piano teacher and said, can you teach me enough piano so that when we're far enough into this thing, they'll figure out I don't know how to play piano, but it's too late. And he was like, 100%, I can totally do that. He taught me a bunch of scales that I can just play in a nice pattern. And I did that for about 2 hours and 2 songs. And then that's it. And then at hour 10, they went, you don't know how to play the piano. And I went, yep, that's right. Ba, 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 ba. That's what you do.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
What did they say?
They said, as I knew they would, well, I wish you'd been a bit more honest. And then I said, well, what are you going to do now? And they went, nothing. Keep going. Yeah. Yeah. Ironically, actually, the guy who owned that place, this is very sort of sad. I remember he was very angry and was like, I'm going to really consider this moving forward if you're going to be involved in, like, he had an improv club called The Institution in Ottawa. And then that guy got mad cow disease, lost his memory.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Welcome. Don't fuck with me. Yeah.
Holy shit. Of all the things I thought you were going to say.
You weren't expecting Crook-spelled Jacob disease. The only reason I know what mad cow disease is called in the human beings is because he got it and I participated in a benefit for him. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Oh my fucking God.
the thing is, too, is as someone who got really into improv for a while, first of all, pyramid scheme, don't take the classes, kids.
Massive, do not take the classes.
Secondly, like, I gotta ask John, to play the piano for 36 hours, were you even paid, or is it just the experience, man? I've never known anyone to get paid over $20.
Absolutely, we were absolutely not paid. It was just I was like this is like first year university, just trying to figure out how to be in show business. But again, it's just work the fucking angles. Also, this is genuine advice. Do you want to be in show business? Fucking lie a bit. Like, what's with all the honesty? Like, no one's checking. No one will check.
Yeah, that's one of the wildest things to realize when, like, I remember starting out just assuming that all clubs talk to each other.
Oh yeah.
No one. No one is in contact.
None of them talk to each other.
Do you want to know what's even more frustrating? Is arguing with Chris Betts over that, where your only point is, I know, I work for all these clubs. They don't talk to themselves, let alone each other. No, man, I'm pretty sure they do. Well, says who, Chris? Me, I think. Oh, it's so funny.
Also,
now-
fun fact, kiddos, you can just move to another country and say you play all the clubs in the other country and no one will fucking check. I moved here an open micer, just got into the clubs right away because I was a New York club cop.
Of course.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was able to just say I supported Alison Spittle, and when I got here, and it was just like, yeah, okay. I didn't fill in any application form to do the stand or anything.
The problem is it doesn't work with Canadians because there's enough Canadians here that have fucked it. So Canadians are just Vince Fluke and fucking Marty Adams or Marty McLean fucked that for us. Yeah. So yeah, we have to audition like everyone else.
Jackasses.
Poor thing.
Yeah. Well, I think we're flagging. Abigail, do you have any plugs you'd like to plug?
Yeah, you making things?
Are you making? Are you still making just like Mommy made?
Well, that's a good question. I got another episode coming out, another best of the first year, and I got to be honest, I'm supposed to be making the new episodes right now, and I had a long talk with Tom, and I'm not sure if I can be fucked because it's very expensive and very stressful. So I might be ending it, but I don't know. So I do have a YouTube channel called Just Like Mom Made, and even if I don't continue doing it, there's 25 fucking episodes. So because I'm an American and that's how we do seasons. So I do have that. And then also I'm on @Abiglia on Twitter, on Instagram. I use TikTok the most right now. And I got off Facebook because it's the devil. So yeah. So those are all my places. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I just realized I'm getting drunk.
Nice.
Nice. I
Yeah.
don't know what I'm doing. I feel like my week is over, and yet I still have a bunch of stuff I have to do tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I have nothing to plug except for buy my albums and support Ashley and Chris.
Oh, that's not awkward for me at all.
Well, they just
we never have anything going on. That's the thing. We don't have.
well, it's
anything.
also because they like I mean, and actually supporting Abiglia. I forgot. I always think when Abiglia is on, I'm like, she's in America, like me. But no, you're in Britain. They're all in countries that are way more locked down than America right now, and we all are live performers. So if you guys please support our coffees, go to our Patreon, all that sort of stuff. It really does help.
I'm saving up for a new microphone because this is shit. It used to be really good, and now I hate it.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah.
When you buy a bit of tech and you're like, this will be great. And then like 3 months in, you're like,
it
oh,
was
no.
really really good for like a year, and it was super cheap, so I don't really feel scammed out of it or anything. It just sort of started going a bit weird sounding, and now sounds a bit tinny on the recordings. I think it just doesn't sound as nice as it used to.
Yeah, I've got my heart set on an XLR, like a sound thing by Elgato. I just look at it every now and then,
things,
and I go,
basically, is our plugs.
One day I'll have that, and I can't wait to be disappointed with how little I know how to use it and how quickly I break it. But right now, it's perfect in my
Very
mind.
good.
It's going to be great.
My name is Rune. I just want to clarify very quickly. I amend this to be a foot in the door. No, actually, I stand by what I'm saying. Show business is incredibly difficult. You just have to sometimes you just got to fucking go for it, and it'll work out in the best. That said, if you lie, my amend is you have to back it up to a certain point. I was able to get away with the piano playing because I was able to play it enough for the first few hours that they were like, perfect, fine. That's okay. The job was done, and I was doing it for free. Same thing with the commercial. You don't be like, I'm a heart surgeon, and then just stab a bunch of people in the heart and be like, they're dead. That's what
There is a podcast about somebody who did that, though.
I mean,
oh yeah, that's horrible. I've listened to that.
Yeah, I am well aware about that podcast, by the way. Do you understand that someone's wife told me about it in intimate detail on a tube ride, and I had to stop her and go, you do know that I'm terrified of hospitals and needles? And she went, I didn't know that, and then just kept telling the story. Totally oblivious to me being there like, shut up, shut the fuck up.
I remember her coming home after that and being like, I had the best talk with John on the tube.
She just didn't read it because I was like totally going, and I was like, this is because I'm also really intrigued. But then she was like, and like it's a surgical thing, they're in surgery, and I kept being like, okay, it is a doctor. Oh, it was so fun. Like I was just like, bleed. Yeah.
I didn't know you were afraid of hospitals, given how many like bicycle wrecks you've been into. I figured that was just like old hat for you.
No,
only 2 that warranted a visit to the hospital.
But fucking big ones, man. Like
yeah, and ironically, I wasn't in the hospital.
The more you're exposed to hospitals, the more you cannot be in them.
What's actually weird is mine comes from I was born premature, and so I have a visceral reaction to the smell of hospitals. And it's because when you're born premature, the only way they can feed you is by stabbing very long needles into your head. And so what most medical professionals think happened is one of my first sensations was pain as a baby, and all these smells and sensations around it are associated. I'm literally starting to sweat right now talking about this. Are associated with visceral pain.
Throw up.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where. So when people are like, "Oh, it gets worse," and it's like, no, it's just base level terror. I remember visiting my friend Alex West's dad, and we walked outside, and I just started smoking and crying. And she was like, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, "I'm deadly afraid of hospitals." And she's like, "You didn't mention anything." I'm like, "Well, you can't be like, well, I'm not going to the hospital because of fear. You just have to go in
That
and
is
do
what
it."
I do.
No,
That's what I do. I
you
don't
gonna
go
do?
into hospitals. I can't. The last time I went into a hospital, I had a PTSD seizure.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
you just cry a bunch. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's fucking horrible.
No,
but
full seizure,
I'm
24
with-
hours in A&E.
I mean,
Which
what's
is so ironic that going into the hospital made it you be in the hospital more.
I will say this, though. Actually, though, that is a real power move for. It'll be 4 hours to wait. Oh, will it? Yeah, that's a broken ankle. Actually, we have some people with some heavy. Oh, you want to add? Just write in pencil seizure. You can fill it in with pen in about 10 minutes. Well, why? You'll see. What a weird show.
I'm like one of the few people in the world who's not afraid of hospitals because my dad was an eye surgeon. And when I was a kid, I used to go in and watch him do surgery. Like
Abigail,
as a child, I was allowed to
Wow.
watch eye surgery. It was so much fun because as he was preparing, I was left with the nurse and the nurse. I was young enough that they let me scrub in for pretend, but I had to use a step stool.
Sweet.
Like that's how young
adorable.
No,
And,
you would have been on
absolutely
TikTok if that was.
I
Absolutely not.
fucking love hospitals. Whenever I go in, I feel so comfortable.
I want to sue your father, who I believe is no longer alive.
Correct.
Because if I as a person about to have eye surgery and I hear just, all right, we're gonna scrub up. Oh, hun, don't miss a spot. I mean, why? Who you calling hun, doc? Well, my daughter's scrubbing in. Oh, is she fuck? Oh, is she fuck? I know that the patient wasn't aware. He just did it while they were unconscious.
No, I will say, I will, like, my father was not a great man on many respects, but he was an excellent doctor. And before I ever watched a surgery, there was always like a permission, like the patient was aware that I
Yeah.
would be in the room. Like they have to sign a thing that, like, my dad would ask permission, and the nurse would pull me aside and be like, the nurse was amazing because she's like, basically my dad's taking me to watch him do surgery, and God bless, looking back, the nurse was fucking babysitting me. You know what I mean? Like, and she has a job to do. But I remember the nurse just being like, listen, I'm so happy you're here, and just so you know, if you touch anything, it's absolutely fine. It's no big deal. You just need to tell me immediately. But it's no big deal. Like, they made, like, yeah, but like permission was granted by the patients. I wasn't just waltzing into surgeries.
Here's what I'm more scared about is that there is a permission form implying lots of doctors do this. Lots of doctors are like, hey, what are you doing today?
Well, they would get student
because
doctors
it's-
observing
yeah,
a lot.
it's student doctors and stuff. So that's basically what was filled out.
I've had
was-
to sign that a few times because of student doctors.
yeah, permission to observe. But
yeah,
like,
yeah.
obviously I was like, I don't know, small enough I need a step stool.
I've
But-
told this on stream. My only experience with student doctors when I was bleeding out of my asshole. I assume I've told this story. Honey, that's not a bar. We'll give Very good, Steve Mooney. I got a bunch of internal hemorrhoids from being on too many planes in a week, so I kept filling my toilet with blood from my asshole. And so I went to I want to point out, Ashley, totally calm. These two fucking cucks couldn't take a little blood in the toilet bowl. What are you, teenagers?
Hey,
I gotta say, based on where the lines have been drawn today, I'm much happier that Abigail and I are the ones who drunk fuck a fascist, but do not like sit casually while you talk about bleeding out of your asshole.
I like
High five. High five.
I made my
Don't be
choice.
afraid of a little wiping red.
Exactly, May. We wipe red. Anyway,
We wipe red. And we
just,
wipe red proudly.
proudly. Just
I feel like there's
alarm.
definitely like a January 6th joke in wiping red.
Yeah, they were trying to
It's
wipe
the
red.
blood of my country. Like,
It just keeps pouring out of my asshole. I don't know. Anyway, I ended up being seen by a emergency room internist because there was some concern it was internal bleeding from something else. And so he has his fingers in my asshole. I am surrounded by students because he was like, hey, I gotta show them how to check for internal bleeding in the asshole. Can the students? And I was like, fine. Yeah. So like 17 people in there, just a man in my asshole, and we're just chatting in the most awkward way possible. And then he goes, so what do you do? Oh, that's right. He was like, it was internal hemorrhoids, and he's like feeling around like this, and then he goes, do you do a lot of airplane travel? And I said, yep. And then he was like, oh, what do you do? And I said, I'm a stand-up comedian. And then he went, at Yuck Yucks, do you know Dave Hempstead? I do know Dave Hempstead. And he goes, what's your name again? John Hastings? I've seen you live, man. Pretty funny. Turns to the students. He's pretty funny. Yeah, that's my fucking experience with being around fucking student doctors.
Just want to acknowledge all the dead. Top notch.
Red, white, and
red, white, and poo. The old red, white, and poo. Can 6, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a raid message. Red, white, white,
and poo. Who shall we raid?
Who's on?
Toasty, paleontologizing, and my gun is huge.
Who's Toasty?
Unless anyone has anyone else. Toasty's like a big deal, I think.
Yeah, maybe Toasty, because I think we only rated her once before.
Yeah, we can do that.
Great.
She's cool. I went skating with her once. It's great.
Sounds like a fun story.
It was. Not especially like nothing. Oh, I did fall in front of a little family.
There we fucking go, madam. Yeah.
They laughed at me. The children asked if I needed help getting up.
What did you say?
Fuck off.
Yeah. Fuck you.
Okay.
I really appreciate it that we wrapped up about a half hour ago, and yet somehow we're still going.
Happens.
That's how it happens.
Quite a bit. Yeah. We think we're done. We're not done. A lot like wiping red. You think you're done.
You're never done. All right. So we're rating Toasty?
We're rating now. Yeah.
Rating now. Cool.
Enjoy this old lady talking about sex. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
That's all. Penis into her vagina. And that's all. That's all. And that's called sexual intercourse. Some people call it having sex. So the man passes the sperm to the woman, and now his sperm is in her. Maybe you're wondering if a mistake could be made when having sexual intercourse. That can't happen.